What's up, you guys? I haven't been live in quite a bit, so I'm kind of stoked to be here. So, a lot of the times, I'm going to let you give you guys a second, but a lot of the times when I post these quotes in the mornings, I know a lot of you guys see them. Some of them are really fucking heavy hitters. Like, let's just call a spade, right? Like, some of them are like gut wrenching, like, holy shit. And when I posted this quote I guess it was maybe last week or something. Hey, Kyle, what up? I got a lot of messages. I mean, I even had family members and friends bring it up in conversation when I saw them in person, like later on. So I wanted to just jump in for a quick minute and talk about it and discuss it. If you guys have any thoughts, like post them in. If it punched you in the gut, I'd love to know about it. Like, let me know. Thank you, Jeree. Hey, Jennifer, thank you. I know it's going to not be that way anymore, my love. I promise. I will be much more here. So what you're not changing, you're choosing, right? Like, whole punch in the fucking gut, it feels like. And it rings true for everyone. Like, I feel like no matter what stage of your life you're in, no matter what you're struggling with, no matter what you're trying to create, no matter where you are, what you're doing, when I say that quote to anyone, they're like, oh, okay. And there's probably something specifically that like pops into your head when I say that to you. If what you're not changing, you're choosing. And we're probably like, oh, wow, like that's a big one. Like, what do we do with that? Holy crap. So if that was one of those like punches in the guts for you, take that as a sign that like, what is that thing that you can change? And we're always improving. Like, I had someone say to me, what do you expect people to be perfect? And I'm like, fuck no, like, ain't nobody perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't expect anybody to be perfect. But I do want people I say the things I say and I do what I do specifically because I think every person is constantly evolving if they choose to. And that's the beautiful part about life. So when you have those like gut wrenching moments where you're like, oh boy, like what I'm not changing, I'm choosing, like what? You can start, it's kind of a motivator, at least it was for me, and it was for a lot of people. Like I said, a lot of people reached out about it. But I wanted to just kind of dive a little bit deeper into what exactly that means. Because it is a really like heavy hitting quote and something to really accept and understand. And the truth is that everything does come down to choices. Everything comes down to choices. What we choose to believe, what we choose to think, what we choose to do, what we choose not to do, what we choose to say, what we choose not to say. Like all of those things are truly choices. And then you become intentional about how you do them and what you're aware of. And like everything molds into a place where you can control those choices a lot of times. You choose how you handle something that happens to you that's brought to your table that you didn't expect or didn't necessarily maybe want, right? All of that comes down to choices. So same thing with, I'm going to use this one because it's super simple to do, but people who are struggling health-wise, a lot of times, or what I would say is they're not happy with their weight or their health or their appearance or whatever it is. A lot of times you have to think about what led you there. Like people that are overweight or underweight, you don't get there overnight most of the time. Choices are made that get you to that place. Choices are made to do things or not do things that get you to this result, right? Everything is about, it comes down to that. And so this isn't like a harsh thing. It's just fucking true. Like it's like neutral, truth, factual statements. And so then you have to accept that what is happening and what you are standing with right now is a result of choices that you've made. So it's, again, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. That's what it means. If you're not changing it and doing something actively every single day to change this thing that you don't like, that you don't want to deal with, you don't want to be or feel or whatever, if you're not changing that, you're choosing it. Like, the reason I love this quote, thank you, Sean, by the way. The reason I love this quote so much is because when you can take responsibility for that, that's when you can change things. A lot of people complain about circumstances or their reality or where they're standing right now. And sometimes, you know what, if you need to bitch for a minute, bitch for a minute. But long-term complaining about where like your situation, that's choosing it. Like you're choosing that to be your problem, your reality, or whatever it might be. You're choosing that versus changing it. Does this make sense? Give me some little likes or hearts or something if this makes sense. So that's really why I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that. And I felt like it wasn't something that I could write where it would be understood nearly as well as me having this conversation. And there were so many private messages about this particular quote that I wrote a couple weeks ago in one of my like morning coffee thoughts. And I love it. I use it all the time. And I think it's a brilliant thing to keep you in check. And it's to keep you in check to make changes, or it's to keep you in check to say, you know what? I am choosing this and I'm going to own that. And that's my decision. You know what I'm saying? Like if your life is a certain way and maybe it's not ideal, but you can honor and accept that like that's your responsibility. Like you take responsibility for the fact that you're choosing that. It doesn't become such a heavy, scary, ugly, like rearing its head into your world thing. Does that make sense? Okay. That's what I had to say. That was my message for today. Thank you guys for being here and watching. As always, if you like the message, please hit like and share it if you think other people could benefit from this message. I hope you guys are all having an awesome Tuesday, and I will talk to you later.